And we are live. 1 minute. Sorry, 1 minute delay because this the platform was not helping us. So we were here having a nice conversation, and suddenly, oh, we cannot go live. So go back. Sorry for that. First of all, thank you so much for being with us in this live. This is the podcast, The Coaches Next Door. And every Tuesday, we go live with sometimes a guest, and to be honest, that are our best episodes. If we don't have a guest, then it's only me. What is not, yeah, it's not the same. It's not the same. So today, you can already see that I have my guest super ready to talk to us. And let me say something about Inês Moura. First of all, thank you so much for accepting my invitation. And we met, I don't know even when. I, have to, I don't know,
More than 10 years ago?
more than 10 years ago.
12 maybe, yeah.
Yeah, maybe 12. I can say that I got very fascinated by what Inez was doing back then, because it's a part that I, let's say, always wanted to develop more. I'm going to say what it is, but I'm going to keep some secrets here. So I always wanted to develop that sense, that skill a little bit more. And suddenly I met Inês, and she gave me some tips, some tricks, and some awareness as well, let me tell. And then also I saw Inês doing, almost like doing what can I say? I don't know if I can say that you really do what you really enjoy today. Can I say that like that?
Yes,
Okay.
of
Can I make a
course.
statement on that? Okay.
Yes.
So what is that thing that Inês works in a amazing way, and that is voice, our voice, and of course, probably are going to find out that voice is much more than that, right?
Absolutely. Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Okay. So Inês, tell us, what are you exactly doing right now?
hmm So thank you for this invitation to be able to talk with you about a topic that, as you said, I'm really passionate about, and what I do as an executive vocal coach. So it's a vocal coaching in a very specific niche. I would
Yes.
tell a bit what is later, but I basically I help leaders, entrepreneurs, and experts to use their voice in any professional context where voice is required. So basically, as we are doing now, a live stream, a video, meetings, conferences, presentations of any type,
Yeah.
where you need to grab and hold the audience attention and basically get your message across. And I work the layer on all the communication layers, the layer related to the delivery, to the voice, and how we convey our message, our emotion, credibility, confidence,
Yes.
etc. And
Yes.
I've been studying this subject for 15 years now.
Yes.
Well, maybe more if I count with
More, right?
with university.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I discovered it quite late when I was studying, and but I was actually fascinated about communication of all types,
Yeah.
but particularly people without any voice disease or any voice issue. But I was fascinated why we know our things and we know our subjects, but for some reason when we step on a stage we don't have the same confidence, the same
Yeah.
the emotions, we get all the nerves about public speaking, and how that affects voice. And
Yes.
so, of course, I'm a speech therapist. So I study voice
Voice
among
therapy.
other subjects. Yeah,
Yeah.
speech therapy, voice therapy. And I decided to work exactly on this part because speech therapy is a very large
Yeah.
area. So it has a
Spectrum,
lot of,
right?
we can
Yeah.
work with children, with adults, with older people, people who had strokes.
Yeah.
And voice is just one of those parts. And in voice, you also have the singing voice and the speaking voice.
That
And
is the first part is the one that I still need to work on.
the singing and the speaking voice. And sometimes we think about voice as, yes, of course, singers, they use it, and actors,
Yeah.
and but we also use them in our daily
Yeah.
interactions with all, everyone
Yes.
that we within our family, friends, colleagues, clients, partners, etc. So voice is really the communication thing that you use every single day with
Yes.
almost everyone that you interact with,
Yeah.
but we never think about it, which is
No.
crazy.
Yeah. But I think we have some subjects that sometimes it's just because we do it, we think that we do it well,
Hmm.
right? So it's
Yeah.
like breathing, we think we do it, we are still here, so we probably are doing well. No, necessary, not necessarily.
Yeah.
And I think voice is one of those topics as well. Like if I'm speaking, everything is going to be okay. I know how to do this. And
Yeah.
I think, for instance, like most part, but also some people know that are seeing us. My son doesn't speak, but he has a voice.
Hmm.
Even
And he
when you,
communicates for sure.
yeah, he communicates some words, but before not even. Yeah, he's not considered nonverbal, but he's considered not communicative.
Hmm.
Okay, because he can say some words, but still he has a voice.
Hmm.
I know exactly by the sounds he makes, even if he's no words. I
Hmm.
know if he's asking for help, if he's upset, like with his sister. Sometimes he gets like irritated with her, and he
Hmm.
uses voice in a different way.
Yeah.
But I think only when you face this type of situations, you go like, oh, okay, this is relevant.
Yeah, you are talking about voice and words, but we
Yeah,
have only voice and the sounds that we can do, like surprise and
yeah,
joy and
yeah,
pleasure and everything, sadness,
yeah,
we can do with our voice. There was a study, actually, it was a few years ago, but
yeah,
really interesting on that we can convey more than 80, I would say we have the basic emotions, of course,
yeah,
but then 80 nuances of different types of joy, of
yeah,
pain, of pleasure, of so many nuances.
yeah.
And we can identify each of them.
Wow.
So if you
So we
do,
can do it, but
we
we
can
can
do it,
also
but also
identify.
of course,
Oh, wow.
if someone is hurt, for
Yeah,
example, you can immediately, by the sound of the person being hurt, you immediately understand this is pain. You don't need
yeah,
words to say that.
yeah,
So communication, verbal communication is another layer where we have our content, the message
yeah,
that we have, and then
yeah.
we have the sound
The
behind it,
sound.
the music behind it.
Yeah.
And what actually, and then also entering a bit in what I do with leaders is if that music is matching the words. Because if there's disalignments, people don't believe what you are saying.
Yes.
Just stop it.
Yes.
So if then the content is conveys the right emotion, I would say the appropriate emotion, then we see, okay, this person is being trustworthy. I trust the
Yes.
person. It's being honest. But if there's a
Does match?
disalignment, a
Yeah.
mismatch, we say, yep, I don't really
Is
believe
it?
it.
Yeah. I always say like, is the words make sense, but I will not buy this. Like,
Yeah,
you know, and I think sometimes,
and the internet is full of that, right?
yeah. Ooh. So I don't know. I think you know that I did the radio for 10 years.
Mm.
So and my ears are, I'm very sensitive. So I can sometimes, even is this strange thing of, if someone is speaking, I can even see colors in their voice. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So gains a kind of a physicality the voice.
Mhm.
And some people I cannot hear it.
Mhm.
When you go to a video or something like that, and you hear like half a second, it's like, "Ugh,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
this doesn't work for
Mhm.
me."
Yeah, and let me add on that
What is
that
that?
if yeah, because we are so much sensitive to we can stand a bad video like image wise of course we are
Yeah.
all used to see like videos recorded with your phone, and
Yeah.
but you really in a snap of a second you really decide, I don't want to listen to this person.
Yeah.
It's like
Right.
half a second. It's like you
But
really
why
don't.
is that? It's because let's say something happens in our brain is because I know that, for instance, smell is one of the faster senses,
Mhm.
right? So with smell is like it's the same for the sound.
The sound is also very primitive because remember that
Yeah, sure.
our all our
The
features
first sound of the universe.
ah, but we are remember that all our features as human beings were for survival, right? So
Yeah.
you smell, you of course it will defend you from eating some
Bad
poisoned
news.
food
Yeah.
or some fruit that isn't okay. But the sound also triggers threat, or
Yeah.
I can trust, or I'm like I can be more relaxed. That's why some kinds of music, they create a certain atmosphere and they create a
Yeah.
certain mood, because we are talking about frequency, and frequency affects our inner ears, you know, and our listening, our brain.
Yes.
And so we create different waves in our brain according to the things that we are listening.
Yes.
And of course we can agree that are more pleasant sounds than others, and are more harmonic voices than others. And when you have a really pleasant voice, and people, you know, say, you know, the radio, the typical radio
Yeah, the
voice
typical radio voice.
that we were using back in the 60s or
Yeah.
70s,
No,
we created this
still
even
today you
now.
see some people possessing
Yeah,
and
yeah,
saying,
it's a bit more
"Hi, good
democratic.
morning."
It's a bit more
It's very
democratic.
stable. It's very
Yeah,
stable, and we can all talk like this. No.
that was used to be the good voice,
Yes.
because without television, a voice had, you know, this reach, and everyone was recognizing this voice by the
Yeah.
radio. Nowadays, we have so much stimulus with YouTube
Yeah.
and different TV channels, and you know, the public ones, the private ones. You know, we can see on TV, so we are more used to different voices,
Yeah.
information wise, you know, receiving our news. However, there will always be voices that we like more, and
Yeah.
that we
But
like
that
this.
is also. Do you find, let's say, because we are talking about frequency, we are going to vibration, a
Hmm.
lot of rhythm, a lot of different things here, right?
Yeah.
Do is like we have this is I'm asking this question. I don't know how to put it in a way that really is the, let's say, the more logical valid thing, but I'm going
Hmm.
to say it anyway. Is a type of voice that most part of the people will not like, you know what I mean? I know that is
Hmm.
not universal stuff, but it's a type of vibration, a type of rhythm that most part of human beings will reject.
Yeah, if we see the spectrum of too low in terms of frequency to I would say this very very
The
very up to the really high
really high.
high pitch,
Yeah.
we tend to dislike more when the pitch is really high.
High. Yeah. Yeah.
So, and that is because I've read many explanations about this.
Yeah.
It's quite interesting.
Yeah.
But when you are in a situation, a stress situation, your pitch goes high. So
Yeah.
normally it conveys stress, an emotion of like be more hysterical or
Yeah.
like pay attention. So that's why we don't like that, because we feel that there's some threat around, and this high pitch is just only for screams,
Yeah.
for just a really quick signal that you should pay attention. But if you keep it throughout the time, it's really unpleasant to have
Yeah.
a
Because
really,
I
really high
think,
pitch.
yeah, because I understand, because makes us be too alert,
Alert, yeah, it's too alert for us, so we
and we get
stress out.
tired as well,
We get tired, yeah.
right? Because if you are always alert, we get tired for after I don't know, maybe we have different
Very short time.
time, but most part of
It's
us
short,
will not be willing to be alert all the time, right? Like
yeah.
what is coming?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah.
normally, when what causes more stress, if we see like a spectrum, is too loud, too
Yeah.
high pitch, and
Yeah.
if we also add words too fast,
Yeah. Okay.
that creates stress. So too much volume, too much pitch, and too much pace.
Yeah.
If we tend to the other spectrum, is how you relax people on a yoga class, right? So you
Yes.
speak soft,
Yes. Yeah.
low,
Yeah. I honestly
slow.
I need to laugh because I do that with my children. You know, since they are born, I laid down. I remembered, I'm telling you the story. I remember one time my husband went to put one of our daughters, I don't remember anymore which one of them, and he came to bed and said, so now you need to go because she's not sleeping. And I go like, strange, because she's a easy sleeper, you know, she goes sleep fast. So what happened? And then I said, what did you do? And he goes like, oh, I was telling her a story. I said, okay, tell me the story. And the story was, so was the pirate and the super pirate and came the boat. And I'm like,
Of course, she was excited.
of course she's not going to sleep. And then I said, okay, don't worry, I go. So I went there and I just said, I think I said 3 words, you know,
Yeah.
like
The pirate is
so
sleepy.
now you are so ready. Like, you know, and
It also has a
then I
bit
came
of
back.
hypnosis, maybe.
Yeah, exactly. And then I go back to the room and he's like, already? And I said, yeah, she's sleeping.
Yeah. No, really,
Yeah.
how quick the voice can induce a state.
Yes.
That's why if you have a pitch, like a 5 minute speech, 2 minute speech, like 30 seconds, you really need to pay attention because
Yeah.
it's quick how people decide, how people judge, how people, if they like you, if they
Or
trust you,
not.
if they would buy from you or not.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
really, really a quick judgment.
I, I'm curious because, okay, we have this voice, but again, because we speak, and we have also, I think, this, at least I have, this internal belief that, okay, this is my voice.
Mhm.
Even, for instance, I'm a person that knows how to use, you know, the throat, the rib, and the belly, kind of
Mhm.
breath to introduce a different type of voice. I can put myself in different voices,
Mhm.
but I still believe this is my voice.
Mhm.
Right? How, when someone comes and they speak, and you go like, "Oh, okay, is here this match, or the voice is
Mhm.
too high or too fast?"
Mhm. Mhm.
How do you work with this belief that this is the way I speak?
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, and it is actually.
It is.
It's a fact.
It's a fact, exactly.
But I think it's interesting to see voice not as a given, like you are a fate, but as a build up on a lot of habits that
Yeah,
you since your childhood. So first it started with your genetics, and if you are prepared or not for a certain, it's like an instrument. You know,
yeah,
a big instrument plays a different sound than a small instrument. So a small throat plays a sound that is different. That's why men and women have a different voice, because
yeah,
their vocal folds have a different length. They are thicker in males, etc. So, of course, a physiology will determine your voice, but just
yeah,
up to a point. Then
yeah,
you have your cultural, where you were born, how people spoke around you, how was your
yeah,
family, if you have to scream on top of your brothers
yeah,
to be heard. So, voice is a sum. Of course, you have the genetic, but then
yeah,
you have, I would say, a lot of construction on what is correct or incorrect, what is
yeah.
expected from your teachers in school, if you should be softer, if
Soft,
you
yeah,
should, if you practice sports or not.
yeah,
So I'm comfortable with maybe giving a scream because I play basketball. I need to
yeah.
scream for my colleagues or cheer my team. If I haven't been in that situation, maybe I would not be able to scream.
Able to
So
be, yeah,
yes, it's your voice, yet it's also a habit. And as any habit, you can adjust if you want
yeah.
to. I'm not saying that everyone should have a correct voice. That would be so boring.
Yeah,
Or a
exactly. If
certain
we are have
standard.
all the same type of voice,
That's so boring. But
yeah,
the question that I always ask is, are you happy with it? I mean, do you feel there's any disalignment on that? Do you
yeah,
feel that your voice is holding you back when you step on a meeting or on a
yeah,
stage? If not, perfect. I mean, if
yeah,
your voice is not hurting you in terms of you are not using your voice in such a way that is damaging your structures,
yeah,
like the vocal cords when they get
yeah,
damaged, and then you need to do speech therapy to
yeah,
actually revert the situation. Or if you have acid reflux because of the way you digest or not, or the sphincter, how it works, If you have problems with your voice because of your acid reflux of the stomach, of course you have to take care of your
Yeah.
the way you feed yourself before going to bed, and maybe take some pills to control if it's really extreme. Yes,
Okay.
indeed. So, but only I think we need to change our voice depending on the goal that we have. And
Yeah.
changing is not changing like as you sounded as a different person. We are,
Yeah.
when I talk about changes, especially in this area line of work that I do, is just make your voice easier, less with less effort, more expressive, more flexible, more versatile, being
Mm-hmm.
able to tell a story and be interesting,
Yeah.
or be able to actually reach the kind of audience that you are looking to reach.
Yeah.
And that is when you work on voice plus a goal, not voice plus
Uh,
everyone has to speak in a certain way.
yeah. Yeah. So it's like that's why it's very individual as well. Like
Yeah,
what is my intention with that, right?
yeah.
Because I think it's also very interesting to understand that you can use also your own voice in different situations. Like when I do hypnosis, of course I put a different type of voice.
Hmm.
Still my voice, you can still recognize me,
Yeah.
right? You're
But
not
then
like,
maybe has a
oh, who's
different
this person?
tone or a different
Yeah.
pace or a different
Pace. Yeah.
tonality or
Yeah.
volume. That is the things that we can adjust. So it's not changing, I would say, the DNA of the voice,
Yeah.
but is changing. What can you change easily? Volume. Speak
Volume.
louder, speak
Yeah.
softer. You
Yeah.
can, you get used to that. And for example, if you are suddenly, if it's required by your work that you have to give classes or
Yeah.
training every day for 5 days in a row, and you are not trained to use your voice with that
Yeah.
intensity, so you'll learn how to project your voice throughout the
Without
day
effort.
without effort,
Yes.
without losing your voice by the end of the day.
Yes.
This is one thing that you can easily change. The other thing, like you are monotone because you tend to build the habit of being monotone because your
Yeah.
personality, because
Yeah.
you didn't have to use your voice in a more singy
Yeah.
way throughout your life. But then you can train your muscles and your ear to listen to you in different,
Yeah.
with more
Yeah,
more tonalities.
for instance, one of the things, sometimes that is a topic even that people ask me, like if because I talk a lot, uh,
No.
I talk a lot, but I'm also, my work is like that. Like for instance, today, I already had two coaching sessions. I'm talking to you, and I'm going to continue my day talking,
Mhm.
right, and producing content with videos or whatever. And people ask me, "Oh, and I gave, I was a teacher and I'm a trainer, so yeah."
Mhm.
And sometimes people ask me, "Did you ever lost your voice?" And every time that I lost, I can count with a hand the times
Mhm.
in 25 years that I lost my voice.
Mhm.
Um, the times that I lost my voice, in the sense I could not speak,
Yeah.
I always had a strong emotional stuff going on.
Mhm. Mhm. It's
Uh, so the,
one of the reasons why we lose our voice.
yeah,
A
yeah,
very strong emotion. Mhm.
the first time that I lost really my voice, but like for a week, was not even me teaching, was when I was in my corporate work, and that was the moment that I decided to quit.
Mhm. Mhm. So a lot of things
Okay,
going
like
on.
a lot was going on. I was
Yeah.
pushing myself, like okay, and then, poof, and I like, oh my gosh, this is not possible anymore, And
Yeah.
other situations that happened sometimes, that happened. I remember one that I wanted to say something. I really felt like this is something that I need to be saying,
Mhm.
but I'm a little bit. I know that the consequences will be tough. I know that I'm
Mhm.
going to say it, and I know that I'm going to receive a consequences for that.
Mhm.
So, is this? Let me put it this way: is this true? Can your emotions really affect that skill?
I think you already gave the answer, of course. If you
No,
felt
I'm a little bit crazy, so I want
no,
to
no, no,
check
but
if everyone is like me.
it's with everyone. No, it's with everyone. There are indeed some people that are more sensitive to
Yeah,
voice. So we can basically, if we are under a lot of stress, we can feel it in different parts of our body. Some people
yeah,
feel it in their back, or in their or tummy, or they feel
Yeah.
nauseous, or they feel sleepy, or they feel whatever. So, and some people also, I would say, somatize this stress in the voice really easy, like
Yeah.
not even 5 times in life, like
No.
maybe once a
Yeah.
week they they feel
Yeah.
their voice is a bit. It's so fascinating. So you have
Yeah.
absolutely, you can have, and the throat is the center of a lot of things, right? It's
Yeah.
in a crossroad, so
Yeah.
everything passes here, and so it's really sensitive. And of course we can see the connections with what is the part of your body that is hurt with what is the meaning. And
Yeah.
if we, everything that you say is like things that you wanted to say, but you are maybe anticipating
Yeah.
consequences, or like I'm so overwhelmed that I would say everything but I can't, or you're
Can.
just holding
Yeah.
things in your throat, and that
Yeah.
creates an emotional roadblock
Yeah.
that is in the throat. Super common, super common. So you're not the only one. I'm hearing this for all my life.
Yeah.
So this is an emotional center, I would
And
say. Mhm.
how do you deal with that?
You have to go to the root cause and solve
Yeah.
the issue, and then the voice gets back to normal. No, and you see that is interesting. For example, I never worked a lot with in a hospital or a clinic
Mm.
environment, but some people that indeed have recurrent voice issues, they go to a speech therapist and they are given exercises to do, and they
Yeah.
recover slightly for a few weeks, and then they go back
Yeah.
to normal because the emotional pain is always there.
Yeah.
That's why I think coaching helped so much with finding exactly the root cause
The
of
root cause.
the issues, and then addressing the issues. That sometimes is, I really don't want to be seen on stage, or I don't
Yeah.
really want my boss to, I'm ashamed of my boss because I was one day he judged me in front of everyone. So this is why you are not using your voice correctly. It's not because you have
Yeah.
a problem with
A
your
bad. Yeah. Yeah.
a bad
Yeah.
voice.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
It's
not even physical.
yeah, and
Yeah.
the
Everything is okay with you physically.
yeah, physically. Yeah, yeah, exactly. And this is what I found out when working with leaders and, I'd say, lawyers, politicians, people that don't have
Yeah.
necessarily clinical issue with their voice,
Yeah.
is why is the voice is not working. So
Yeah.
that's why I have to delve into NLP and
Yeah.
coaching and a lot of things going on. Like, okay, what is behind the
Yeah.
voice? And normally the voice is only the tip of the iceberg, and what's
Yeah.
underneath the other is what is causing the voice problem.
Problem. Yeah, because the voice is just a symptom. Let me put it this way.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
it's
it's a
just a
symptom.
symptom.
Mm.
It's
Yeah,
just
and the
like, okay, I'm going.
exercises
Yeah, I'm
will
going to
just
show
treat it.
you that something is here blocking you. Let's say.
Yeah. If you have
Yeah, and
imposter syndrome, you if
yeah,
you want to kind of make a, if you feel that every time that you have to, speak to address a group or speak on in public, that you feel
yeah,
that you are putting a mask and you
yeah,
cannot be yourself, and you have, you cannot be vulnerable, and then of course your voice will be strange, because if you're not being yourself and if you are trying to put behind a mask,
yeah,
that will sound inauthentic. It will be inauthentic. People will can feel it.
yeah.
So you have to we have to address why, not maybe why, but how can you
How?
overcome
Yeah,
the feeling that you are not enough, or you'll be
yeah,
judged, or etc.
yeah,
And
yeah.
then, yeah, magically the
I
voice
yeah.
comes.
Sometimes I see that like people. Sometimes I even. It's funny because sometimes we are talking with someone and the person is like, yeah, I always go like, say it, and the person like, what? And I said, what? You have something because even your mouth is moving,
Yeah.
but you are not saying it, and people are like, oh yeah, but it's something that I'm thinking. I said, but say it out loud.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's really like people. I think it's yeah. I don't want to say I don't think it's like one thing that promotes this, but
Hmm.
I also think that I don't know, we are most part of the times we are so many years that we are not allowed to speak.
Yeah.
Like in school you are not allowed to speak,
Yep.
right?
Hmm.
um, and then in work you can only speak when you have something really interesting to say. And like, how
Hmm.
do we know that it's interesting or not until we say it?
Yeah.
So we are so we put so much pressure
Hmm.
on ourselves in that sense, like
Yeah. You have to sound smart. You have
yeah,
to,
exactly, right?
yeah.
You need to
Don't
say the
bother
right
people.
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, you need to say the right thing. You need to you need to say it the right way. So
Yeah.
it's a lot of pressure. And I think people sometimes get, okay, you know what, it's better to zip it.
Zip it. Yeah. Hmm.
Yeah. So when, and of course, then we have, we, let's say we learn this or we get a little bit in this world, and suddenly comes a now this, like I'm putting in the box of trend, that everyone needs to record videos and
Hmm.
everyone needs to, put themselves out there. And I thought, how to deal with this seems like almost like two different informations. Like
Hmm.
from one side, I need to say the right thing the right way, I need to look smart, I need to look blah blah blah, and from the other side, like, no, go and expose yourself.
Hmm. Yeah, indeed. We are also pushed to be present in all channels and social media. But this is a business, right? Attention is a business,
Yes.
and being on social media is a business for many people. And we
Yeah.
are the users, and sometimes we also use it for business.
Yeah.
But I think there's many ways to be seen and to be heard. Of course, being doing videos is something that you can do, but also there's um, audios or podcasts. If you
Yeah.
don't like to that much to do videos,
Yeah.
you can write amazing blogs or you can
Yeah.
write articles. So there are many ways, many channels where you can say your ideas. Why video is an effective one? Because it's interesting to consume, right? You have interesting
Yes.
things going on camera. You see, if especially if there's a conversation. Also in my podcast, I really like much more when he's a guest
Yeah.
than when I'm solo. I'm struggling to do some solo. Like,
Yeah.
okay, it's my podcast. I don't care. I don't want to do solo,
Yeah.
but I will go back there sometimes. So it's much more interesting, right?
Yeah.
So it depends on what is aligned with your personality,
Mm-hmm.
especially if you are the business owner.
Yeah.
Like the business has to be, I yesterday I have this analogy, like if your business is like not like the house that you built. If you enter the house, and do you like the space, do you like where is in there, do you like who lives there, do you like where is the house,
Yeah.
so we have to build a business like a house, and we have to put it decorated in our own way. If we
Yeah.
don't like videos, don't force yourself. But
Yeah.
if you are just afraid of exposure and in this imposter syndrome, because just do it, and you have of course this experience that it only hurts the first few
Yes.
times, and then it just becomes so natural. I remember my first live on Instagram, I was shaking, and it was only like 7 years ago or
Yeah.
6 maybe.
Yeah.
Like, oh my gosh, and what if this goes wrong, and the
Yeah.
camera. Just know the technology, test a little bit, and of course you can test in different things. Of course you
Yeah.
can start with safe, I would say more safe environments,
Yeah.
but then it's just a matter of getting used to.
Yeah.
And I think everyone really has a voice, and especially nowadays everyone has an opinion,
Yeah.
but it's aligned with ourselves, with our public, with our strategy, our development growth strategy in our activities.
Yeah.
Go for it. If not, I mean,
Ex-
trends, they come and go.
Yeah.
And there was the trend of, how was the app that is only audio that was really trendy on during COVID. I
Oh,
don't remember.
I don't remember.
It's under my tongue. There was a app that was only audio, so you can enter in a
Oh,
room,
yeah. Yeah.
everyone.
I remember, but I also don't remember the name of the thing.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
there was a trend, right? Then
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
it went away.
It just
Uh,
disappeared. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah.
So get comfortable with the sound of your voice. I think this is a skill that everyone can really, even if you don't do YouTube videos,
No.
but
Yeah.
getting used to the sound of our voice is really important.
How that, that one is the most difficult one, right?
Everyone hate it.
People really don't like it,
But I
right?
think first is not. I think first and foremost is because it's not familiar the way we listen to ourselves recorded slash the
Mm,
way we hear ourselves naturally without recording.
mm,
And just overcoming that first barrier is just recording, like sending audios on WhatsApp or
mm.
Instagram, and then listen back to it. It's, of course, you might have friends that don't like to receive audio messages, but
Poor friends, poor friends.
test with your friend, and then send a message and listen back to it. It's such a good exercise because see,
Yeah,
oh, maybe I spoke too fast. I could definitely could be clearer. So improve the clarity, improve the get to the point, improve even the emotion in your
yeah,
audio messages.
yeah,
And before going on YouTube, if you want,
yeah,
or starting your podcast.
yeah.
And then, of course, if this is really important for you, then having someone to help you, to guide
To
you.
help
What
you.
do you
Yeah,
need? Yeah,
yeah,
to what is the voice that you need for those videos? What kind of
yeah,
emotions do you want to get across? What is the podcast voice that you want, which is actually your
yeah,
voice, but maybe slightly adjusted to the tone of
yeah.
the,
To the
the
to what?
episodes
Yeah,
or the yeah, and
or even
that's
the subject,
vocal
right?
coaching. Yeah,
Even yeah, even the topic. For instance,
yeah.
I have a friend of mine that he was doing some videos to promote his business and and he target the videos to a certain type of entrepreneurs, you know.
Mm.
But he has even the way he speaks, he speaks like this and that, and I was seeing the videos, and I really said to him, "Hey, you don't want to try another audience, because I honestly believe that the way even that you speak is not really is not I believe will not resonate with that audience, or you change the way you speak,
Or you
or
change the audience.
you change the audience." And he said to me, "Oh, okay, I'm going to think about it." And
Hmm.
after, I don't know how long, but not too long, because he's super fast, he did it. He did it. He changed the audience, the type of entrepreneur, because even
Yeah.
that, right? We
Hmm.
have, if I'm an entrepreneur, for instance, in coaching, probably I will match with a voice energy different than if I'm selling houses.
Yeah. Hmm.
This is what it
Yeah.
is.
Or the next software
Or
or
the next
whatever.
software, right?
Hmm.
But even from the way you were speaking, I go like, I don't know if this is your audience.
Yeah.
You know what I
Exactly.
mean?
Yeah.
Um, and it, and I think sometimes we also need to, and sometimes alone we are inside, so we don't get this perspective.
Hmm.
That's why
Yeah.
it's having someone
Yeah.
helping you,
Yeah.
like saying, "Hey, this is the voice that you want to have. This is the
But
audience that you want to reach."
your friend was lucky to show the videos to you, and you
Yeah,
gave constructive feedback.
yeah,
But I also let me give a warning about when you record your first videos or your pilots for your podcast. It's also important people that you show to.
yeah.
If you show your uncle, I'm talking about a real example from a client.
You are going to your memory now.
No, I'm going to my memories now about a client that started a YouTube channel on nutrition
Yeah.
and showing healthy recipes, etc. And she had this idea to show these her videos in a family gathering,
Ah.
and it was awful.
Oh,
She
poor.
quit. Yeah, I
Oh,
couldn't say.
really?
Yeah, because you are, your hair is not the best. Like things, comments that you really don't want to hear
You don't
those
want.
comments.
But
Or is it too, like, not amateur, but I mean,
yeah,
oh, it's this one, or you made a mistake when you say that word. And I'm sure people that want those recipes, her audience,
yeah.
really didn't care about those
Okay.
details.
But that,
So
but let me tell you, I think it's the same thing, and I think sometimes people don't realize this. When you have an issue, a legal issue, you don't go to your friend to ask, "Hey, what should I do?" You immediately call your lawyer,
yeah, exactly.
and you know that you're going to pay for it. But
Exactly.
that will avoid you
Yeah.
a lot of trouble.
Yeah,
And I
let me
think
give you
this is the
yeah,
same, right? You need to
absolutely.
go to a professional.
Absolutely. Let me give you a recent example. That one was maybe 5 years old. A recent example last month, I had a
Yeah,
client starting a coaching program.
yeah,
She lives in London. She works with tech companies, so a lot of male, in
yeah,
dominated field, etc. And she wanted to. quite young. I would say maybe 30
Yeah.
something, 35. And she wanted to be seen as credible, to be heard. She wants to move jobs, etc. So she was going through a lot of interviews,
Yeah.
and she's always dismissed as, okay, you are like a little girl,
Yeah.
and you are, maybe
With
not too
35 years
experienced.
old.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, wow.
and and she asked someone, I mean, maybe a friend, advice, I think it
Right.
was,
Yeah.
and said, oh, you have to look serious in
Oh,
all your interviews. You have to
yeah.
look serious. And I mean, though, that advice that she tried to follow, and of course,
Yeah.
not being successful with that. That's why
Yeah.
also she hired me,
Continue.
because she was unbelievably boring and
Yeah.
unbelievably unconvincing. She was talking
Yeah.
about her experience, about what would be
Right.
exciting for the company, being
Yeah.
serious and almost sad, because
Yeah.
she wanted to have that deep voice,
Yeah.
or like more serious, and say, come on, that's really what a recruiter doesn't want it to sound serious
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
fake seriousness. Of course, if
Yeah.
you're talking about something really, an issue,
Yeah.
emotionally, that makes sense to be serious, of course. But you need to actually show your enthusiasm about what you
Exactly.
are. Maybe, of course, we adjust some things in a voice, in the presence, but yes, indeed, you don't need to look serious. So that
Yeah.
was a bad advice that maybe
Yeah.
cost her a lot of money, because she
Yes.
didn't get the
And
jobs that she wanted with us.
possibilities.
Yes, and
Exactly.
possibilities. Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly. And I think that's what people need sometimes to really get is like, hey, if you have friends that you trust, great. But some topics are not friend. You if you have a pain somewhere, you're not going to your friend. Hey, what do you think this is?
Yeah.
You're going
Hmm.
to book a doctor, right?
Or Google it.
Sorry, exactly. Like you're going to the doctor. Hopefully, I please go to the doctor. So but I think is this as people don't understand that. Yes, I think this is a great example. It's like you really lose possibilities. You lose opportunities.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
some of them will cost you a lot of money,
Yeah.
right? Because if you lose a job or if you don't enter, even if you are not called for something that maybe you have all the skills and in another context you will get it, you are losing money, you are losing
Absolutely.
possibility, right?
Absolutely.
um
And that makes me sad, that you are losing
yeah.
opportunities because of your voice, or because it's
Yeah.
not you like maybe awareness, maybe some,
Yeah.
a bit of adjustments or training. And that
Yeah.
makes me sad. That's actually the mission that I'm into, right? Like to open the possibilities for you to be able to give
Yeah.
experts a voice that they deserve, to make the impact the world deserves,
Yeah.
because we are too I'm really tired of course, some people have some more visibility because they speak very strongly and they
Yes.
have these strong beliefs and they get the media attention. But we really need to look into people with that they're experts in their subject, and
Yes.
they want to change things, but they are, because they lack the skills, they lack
Yes.
this training, they are not able to change how things are. I'm saying,
Yeah.
like, things in tech, in science, in
Yeah.
climate, in gender issues,
Yeah.
etc.
Yeah.
So that's why we need to have a
Yeah.
voice.
Yeah, I was even with a friend of mine because she was even commenting that, oh yeah, women and we are not still in the workforce. 28% of leadership roles, only 28% is women. And I go like, yeah, but I think we need to be also, of course that is true, but we also need to take this in our own hands. As women, we need to use our voice
Hmm.
in a way that comes, let's say, in the way that people go like, okay, I want to hear you. I want
Hmm.
to, because I think it's this match that you were speaking in the beginning.
Yeah.
Like, I know a lot of people building a lot of amazing content in terms of words, but then the delivery doesn't
Yeah.
come with the same strength,
Yeah,
right?
exactly, exactly. And we have a lot of expectations and biases as well with voice, and expectations about social roles and even
Yeah.
political roles.
Yeah.
And we are, today is a big debate in the US.
Yeah.
And we have certain expectations about how a leader should sound, how a competent person sounds, how enthusiasm should sound,
Sound. Yeah.
and credibility. So I'm here also to break these
That.
myths, break that and say, okay, yes, you can be credible and have
Yeah.
your voice. You can be confident and have your voice. You can
Yes.
have, of course, if you do something, I'm just talking that if you're these extremes of a super high pitch, a super low pitch, or a
Yeah.
super loud voice, or a super soft voice. But unless you are in these extremes, which
Yeah.
sometimes you need to adjust to be able to, to socialize with others,
Yeah.
just the minimum. But we have so many possibilities
But
about how we can sound and how we
yeah.
can express ourselves. That's the
Yes.
beauty of diversity.
Yeah.
Not talking the same with the same, like looking at the leader in my party if I'm in
Yeah.
politics, and I have to speak like that person if I want to get
Yeah.
there. That's the old thinking, and I
Yes.
think
Yes.
voice can also break so many barriers, all of them,
Yes.
uh,
Yes. So because we put a word in our and was given by you in our podcast that is becoming memorable. Oh my God, what this word?
memorable.
Memorable. Oh my God.
Connect.
How we do that?
Becoming memorable.
Yeah.
uh First, not it's not only one thing, but I
Yeah.
think
I can imagine.
if we want to be remembered, we
Yeah.
have to first define what we want to be remembered for. And
Okay.
that is has to be defined beforehand.
Yeah.
So if I go to do a speech
Yeah.
or a pitch, or
Yeah.
if I go to a networking event, I have to think
Yeah.
beforehand, what is the impression, the lasting impression that I want to make, and how
Okay.
do I want people to remember me?
Yeah.
And if after they leave the room, they speak with someone else, how they
Yeah.
will refer to me, and what is the message that they will carry.
Okay.
And thinking about what is those key messages that I will carry, then I can use my voice and I can adapt my style, etc. So creating memorability is to have a key message that will
Yeah.
serve the audience and that will be have value to them. Otherwise, people will
Yeah.
forget things that they don't have value to their lives. So a
Yeah.
message should always be focused, and you are, you train public speaking, etc. So you know that a message has to be valuable for the other person,
Yeah.
and either because she learns or she gets inspired or etc. And then we use the voice that is appropriate to that message
To
on
that message.
to that
Yeah.
message. And of course, if I want to be perceived as someone, that is clear, as a clear mind and good ideas, etc., I will select the message beforehand. So I want to talk about this and that, and really be specific. Don't try to cover a lot of things,
I
because
love.
otherwise we are
Yeah.
not memorable. We
Yeah.
can
Yeah.
just carry like 3 messages with us,
Yeah.
maybe one if you are lucky,
Maybe
but
one. Yeah.
maximum 5 messages. So what is your top 5 messages, or 3 5
Yeah.
top messages for that meeting, presentation, pitch, podcast, etc.
Yeah.
And then you can
So you build up.
repeat. Yeah, and then you can repeat them. You can say it in a special way or
Yeah.
using a pause. And so,
Yes.
for example, in this podcast, when I say, yes, voice is part of your voice is a reflex of our emotions, I think that was one of our
Yeah.
big key messages. Also, that should be aligned and congruent with our goal. So
Yeah.
voice and goal always go hand by hand. And of course, we also say that it's a skill that we can train according to our needs. So it's not
Yeah.
because we have to sound like someone else, but if we have a need, we can train our voice and align it as any other skill. So
Yeah.
these were my key messages for this conversation.
Yeah.
And I think the voice is one of the best ways to connect with others in a deeper
Yeah.
level. Of
Yeah.
course, we can connect with a text, with a good book, and we all feel things, when we read something
Yeah.
that touches us. But voice is really as a direct access to people's hearts,
Yes.
and it's really a power. It's really,
Yes.
really a
It
power
is.
that we need to unleash and to discover.
Yes.
That's why
Yes.
actually I want to mention this, because it's coming soon. The
Oh.
book that
Yeah.
I wrote
Yes.
a
I
few years
saw
ago, it's
something. Yeah.
finally translated into
Yeah.
English,
In English.
and is going to be launched now in November. So it's the
So,
secret power of the voice.
let me ask one thing, Ines. Do you have already? Can you buy it already, or still is coming?
No, it's
It's
still
coming.
coming. You
Okay.
can be able to pre-order in beginning of November, and it's going
Okay.
to be officially launched
So
14th of
what?
November.
Okay. So my commitment is that I will put when it comes. I will put the link on the under
Yes.
the podcast, and then yeah, we will share for sure also something with
Yeah.
when is the pre-order open.
Yes.
I have the book.
You have the book in
Yeah,
Portuguese.
I
Yeah,
have
you
the
have
book in Portuguese,
one of the copies.
and it's super nice because sometimes I want to give this to some of my clients, and it's like, it's in Portuguese. So
Oh yes,
now,
oh, that will be solved
yes,
forever. Yeah, I'm
I
really
want
happy.
English one that I can also yeah, show it to my clients. And
Yeah. Mm.
last question, last question. What if you could, if you could, this is a tricky question. If you
Oh
could,
gosh.
what will be the person that you will say, I want to coach you because your voice is not there?
Well, at this point, I'm really interested in Kamala Harris. uh, she's doing very well. She's doing all right. But I hope she continues to keep her voice and to be
Yeah,
strategic,
yeah,
because what she stands for, it's so important for the rest of the world. Not only
yeah,
being, of course, I know, let's say the competence
yeah.
is given, she's
It's a given.
competent, etc.
Yeah,
But still, people question that because we are not used to see a
yeah,
leader with that kind of emotion, with that style,
yeah,
with that informality in such a role. We
yeah,
are just resistant, like, oh, a woman,
yeah,
oh, woman of color, or
yeah.
this or that, or she's too
Oh, and she
nice,
doesn't
or she's
scream.
too, she doesn't, yeah.
She doesn't
And
scream. She doesn't do like this.
yeah, she's not authoritative. So what's this? So I think the
Yeah,
world, I hope so, the world is
yeah,
about to discover a new
yeah.
leadership style, and
Yes,
how can be leading with a voice
yeah,
that before was a second,
yeah,
is was a voice that we are not used to see
yeah. We are
in the
not.
forefront
Yeah,
of a country, etc. So I
yeah.
hope it opens doors. So I would love to be part of her team to make
So
sure she doesn't
people
lose the
share. If
power.
someone here knows her, share.
I have to,
Okay, we want to see this happening. I
yeah,
think will be advantage for everyone. Like
yes.
everyone is going to win. It's a win-win.
Yeah. No, but I think just let me just mention this, that
Yeah,
the first speech that she gave was what the way she gave the speech would be
yeah,
totally different, the story, if she didn't use those pauses,
yeah.
those repetitions,
Yes,
those sound bites, those intonation, that
yes,
intonation. I mean, that she convinced
yeah.
a lot of
A
people
lot of people.
because of those
Yeah.
two initial speech. It was the first impression. Remember
Yes.
that no one ever heard about. I didn't even know how was her voice. Before,
Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
and then she set the tone, and I hope she continues. That is
I see.
my
I think you said something just now that is like set the tone. Set your own tone, right?
Mhm.
That I think is the way to go. It's like it's no imitation. It's no. You don't need to have the voice of someone else. Just set your own tone.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for this conversation. We could be hours here talking. I still didn't ask about what what voice. No, I'm kidding.
We can do a second round.
We can do a second one. So thank you so much for being with me. And I want to say that I follow you. I really appreciate what you're doing. I think you transform something that can be complex, not only the physical part and the emotional part. You transform that in something that most part the people will understand, and make that very practical. I think that is also very important. So like giving tools for people to really be able to do something about it. So congratulations for your work, congratulations for everything that you are be doing, and of
Thank you.
course for the translation of the book. I think is a plus for everyone. And yeah, we will share the link when
Mhm.
it comes, and you can pre-order it, so you have a lot of things that you can already work there.
Yeah.
But the best thing to do, of course, is to contact Inês. And if you are without, if you want to at least get a little bit more sense, what is your voice all about? I think you need someone that knows what is doing. And yeah, that is an investment. Yeah. So thank you so much and
Thank you,
have an
Ligia.
amazing day.
Bye bye. Thank you.